As we go through a new virus resurgence, it appears, do you expect that we'll have to have more people working remotely? In other words, those who came back to the offices, like you, might have to go back to working remotely, or do you think it's not necessary now?
I think we've got to watch it. What we've said all along, David, is that we're not going to be driven by dates. We're going to be driven by data. And I think and whether it's been in Asia or whether it's in Europe or in the US, we've seen the back and forth where we've brought people in to send them back home. And we're not afraid to do that. And again, I think we've been successful in terms of our ability to work remotely. We absolutely like to have our people in when we can have them in, but we're not going to put them at risk. And so I think we've tried to get people back in where we can, but where the cases have come back up and the data's been going the wrong way, we haven't been shy about sending those people back home. And so I think we've got to stay flexible.
Now, many CEOs of large companies like yours are beginning to wonder whether they need all the office space they currently have, because employees, when they come back, might only want to come back in the office 2 or 3 days a week. And some people might decide that they need to resize their buildings and so forth. Do you expect you'll need all the real estate you have now in the future?
The answer is probably not, but I would say that in my own belief, it's too early to declare that. Meaning that our business, the banking business, many businesses are apprenticeship businesses, and that we've learned our craft by physically being together and those experiences being passed down. I think that's an important part of big parts of our business, and we don't know how that ages. We don't know over time what remote working, what the ramifications are. We know some of the benefits. People talk about the productivity that comes working remotely. Well, if I work 7 days a week, 15, 16 hours a day, I don't take any holidays, at least for a period of time, I'm going to be more productive. But I think there's two axes to that chart. One is certainly the productivity measured over longer periods of time. But I also think the other piece is creativity. And what I'm mindful of is I don't want to wake up as a company. I don't want to wake up as an industry and have hollowed our skill sets out around moving too quickly towards remote. And I also think the other piece that's important is people join companies for their culture, for the people. And I think it's important that we keep that in mind. So I'm sure we've begun and we'll absolutely continue to accelerate the move towards digital and where appropriate, more remote, but I wouldn't certainly want to see us move too quickly.
So all the banks, I think, are going to face an issue at the end of the year. A lot of the banks have done reasonably well this year in the COVID period of time because they were able to adapt. They made a fair amount of money. In your case, I think your traders did extremely well this year. But paying out big bonuses also creates political problems in Washington. How do you assess that kind of trade-off, paying out bonuses to people who did extremely well versus not trying to get a lot of headlines that are going to produce challenges in Washington?
Well, I think as you say, we've got to be balanced in that approach, right? That we've got to be mindful of our returns and our shareholders. We've got to be mindful of the environment that we're in and the many challenges that are out there for people and for certain businesses. And at the same time, we've got to be competitive, in our industry. And, we're fortunate to have good talent. We've got to recognize that. And so I would say we need to kind of figure our path and thread the needle to paying fairly for our people. And again, our people have done extraordinary work, and whether it's the traders or right down to the people in our branches that have come in and put themselves in harm's way to make sure that our branches are open and that people have access to their financial lives. And we've seen just incredible acts of selflessness from our people who've really gone out of their way in these extraordinary times to make sure that our customers and clients get the service that they deserve, and our people need to be recognized for that.